J Shuler, baby. Molly. Everybody hates you, everybody not you. Some people lack integrity, some of them look like you. See they reflection in your eyes, some people run when they can't hide. I've been outside the line so long, it's like I'm caught. Where I belong is irrelevant, non-special, I'm headed.
Welcome back to the Everybody Hates You podcast. I'm your host, J Shuler, and this is episode 403, The Big Three. Yes, we're getting into all of it, politics, music, film, but we have to start with the Big Three rap civil war. Okay? All right? Okay. So, apparently this has been brewing for a minute. Kendrick set it off on Future's and Metro Boomin's We Don't Trust You. I think it was just shocking because especially, just with given Kendrick's background, and he did drop the Control verse, he did drop the sneak diss at the BET Hip Hop Awards, the Cypher. But this was the first time that he actually addressed the other two in the supposed Big Three. I'm a Kendrick fan, and I do love his work, but y'all be putting extra sauce on for this guy. I understand they're like, some of these bars are going over your heads. No, there were bars on there, and it was the most vicious that we've seen him really go at them and just, say like, I'm the Big Three. Okay, cool. He started it. J. Cole gets involved. I hated the way y'all treated J. Cole's response because J. Cole's response made perfect sense to me on why he was like, I think I don't want to do this. It's not so right with my spirit. You can be competitive like that, and it's easy to be competitive with people that you really don't respect or you have an issue with. All through that diss record, he keeps talking about how he doesn't want to do this to him. It's talking about crying like G-Baby from, have you ever seen New Jack City? Like, what are we talking about here? The whole time he's saying, I don't want to do this. But that was the first time that I saw the chink in Kendrick's armor. And that was crazy to me because I had never really looked at his albums like that. And it was the truth. Even when Pimp a Butterfly came out, the Pulitzer Prize, all of that, some people were like saying, this album's not all that. And I was surprised. I thought Damn was the perfect compromise of his art form and what he does with the art and commercializing it a little bit. And the Big Steppers album, that did brick. I can't lie. Like, he did the tour afterwards and all that, but it bricked. And I thought it was one of his most creative albums. The visuals for it, top notch. But that was me being like, oh, dang, Kendrick might not be all that untouchable. This was crazy to me. And then when J. Cole bowed out, and I thought that was great. I think there's a level of maturity that some people just never reach. And for him to say that didn't sit well with his spirit, it didn't sit well with his spirit, and I can see that. You can hear it all through his rap. Like, the maturity is knowing that you can kill someone and you're like, nah. Because if you see where Drake went, I think Cole realized, I don't even hate dude like this. I don't even dislike him. I respect him. I don't want to down his career like that. I don't want to do it. Now Drake's standpoint on this is, I feel like Drake really tried to be a nice guy through it earlier in his career. Being new to the industry, what do they call it? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he's writing for people. And this is before the ghostwriting accusations, because remember, Drake's pen was nuts. Whether he had someone writing for him at the time, he was writing a lot of hits from rap to R&B. Remember those Alicia Keys hits? And then also, like, he was writing for I'm not writing for other people. He was on everyone's hook. Like, Wayne literally had, "We gonna be all right if we put Drake on every hook in a song." Like, that's why in his diss, he says, "Yeah, this is the closest y'all ever get to a feature," because they need Drake. Drake, put it like this: a verse from Drake today still has value. You can't say that about a lot of rappers that came out over 10 years ago because it doesn't exist. I mean, he's reaching like almost 2 decades in this. So you got to put respect on there. And I feel like he was like, I had an issue with Drake personally as a Drake fan because I felt like I wasn't seeing growth in his music. He's a playboy bachelor. Some would call that a fuckboy. For the Dogs, I felt him really embrace that. I felt him embrace, yo, this is my bachelor life. This is who I am. I'm out here tricking. I'm out here doing whatever the fuck I want because I can and I will. And on top of that, since y'all been egging me on this whole time, I will become the villain. So this was like, to me, the perfect time. Yeah, he's on tour. He's dealing with stomach issues. He said he wasn't rapping anymore, but he let us know, bro, this is my villain era. Try me if you want to. He's Thanos. I've been seeing all of the people make the comparisons, and it's true. It's 20 versus 1, bro. And y'all think this is cool? This is nuts. It's nuts, bro. So he's Thanos. All right. We got Kendrick, who's Iron Man. He set it off. He came out and was like, I am Big Three. I am Big Me. He said, I am Big Me. There's no Big Three. It's just me. Okay, Iron Man. And then J. Cole was on his Captain America. He's like, I'm trying to keep the peace, but I got to fight a little bit. He's like, I don't want to do this to you. It's like Civil War. He beating Iron Man ass. He like, but I can't. But if you want to do this again, we can do it, but I can't do it right now. Here come Drake. He looking at that fucking gauntlet. He like, you know what? I'm gonna have to do it myself. Y'all can call out ghostwriters if y'all want. Y'all can make excuses for all these guys if you want. But the fact that they are all ganging up on this guy, I am all in his corner now. And the fact that he handled all of them the way he did on that track, first of all, I just want to get Rick Ross out the way because Rick Ross has been rubbing me the wrong way for a minute. I don't know. He's trying to rebrand and do this DJ Khaled thing online where he's like, even DJ Khaled's wife got sick of him doing that whole persona on social media in real life. And Rick Ross just looks like a fool sometimes. And I hate when he gets involved in certain beefs. Like he's like, oh, I unfollowed you because you sent a cease and desist to French Montana. Let French Montana handle that then. He did the same thing when Lil Wayne and Big Bird, when Lil Wayne and Birdman were beefing, and like Birdman is like Lil Wayne's pops. Like you don't get involved in stuff like that because most likely they're gonna piece it up, which they did. So Rick Ross looked a little foolish, and he looks foolish again. You don't have any bars for that man. All your hit records did come from Drake. Your recent albums have bricked. And on top of that, you don't have anything against him but to say something about his nose. Okay. And then to start calling him a white boy, but he wasn't a white boy when he was giving you them hits. I hate when black folk do this. If you can't compete, just don't box, bro. Oh, come check me in the streets. Check him lyrically. That's what you were trying to do, because you didn't. I mean, I guess in that group, they all suffer from the same thing. You can't say a rhyme without mentioning your marble floors. And when Meek went against him, he couldn't go against him without mentioning his rollie. It's okay. You can't box with God. Just admit it. Going back to all of the other victims in the slaying, drop and give me 50. First of all, when Drake is diabolical, I remember Joe Budden was like, "Oh, surgical summer." My bad. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to put you on this. Pusha T was like, "Oh, threatening surgical summer. It's gonna be a surgical summer." And they talking about the 6-pack. Okay, you'll be surprised how many people are getting that stuff done. I'm not saying like I'm not saying it's weird because some people do it. People have the money to do it, so go ahead, do what you want. If that's the worst that you can do when he's speaking facts and he can make a diss record an anthem, like drop and give me 50. If he had writers for that, okay. If he didn't, this is drop and give me 50. How? I mean, Kendrick's response has to be extraordinary. Drop and give me 50. When you drop the diss record, go ahead and give top 50. Diabolical. Yeah, I can say, oh, all he's talking about is his height. Okay, but drop and give me 50 is what? wild. That is dirty work. It's diabolical. Drop and give me 50? Shit, you want something drop and give me 50? When he start going, do the show in the Biddy, do a verse from Maroon 5 and make it witty, and we need a verse for the Swifties, drop and give me 50? I don't stand for Drake. I haven't stand for Drake since like Take Care, but you can't deny this. I mean, he dismissed the hell out of Metro Boomin. I mean, I and then The Weeknd getting in on we still don't trust you. Wicked. What he said about Abel. Oh my God. I don't know, dude. As long as they keep it peaceful, I love to see it. You're gonna have the conspiracy theories come out and say, oh, it's all marketing. Everything is marketing, guys. Doesn't mean that this isn't real, but if you're dropping stuff, you're not dropping for free. No one's working for free. Yeah, you're gonna market it to make some money. That's just smart. And this brought me back to the Biggie and Tupac rivalry, which we all know about because Busta had shared a story that a lot of people knew. They tried to clean up this image for Biggie for some reason and act like he never was taking shots at Pac, and he was. And everyone's talking about that verse and how that verse getting kind of altered on the Born Again album. And that's all they had for Pac was, oh, you're an actor. In that same story, Busta Rhymes talks about how, he's reciting the verse and it sounds hard. And then he goes, I couldn't drop it because I was friends with both of them. Literally, Pac, and he was like, this was Digital Underground Pac, choked out a DJ for us because he said we were legends and they weren't going to let them perform or something like that. I'll play the clip so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But when you are attacking someone, you can either spit things that are not true that you think people will be like, oh, about, or you can actually spit facts. And to me, Drake is very direct and never skips on the facts. You can create a whole witty bar and blah, 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 but have facts. Oh, you got your nose done. Okay. Even what Drake was saying, like, this was all real. Like, when he said you drop a hard verse every, 30 months, 4 albums in 12 years, that's all facts. I'm burning tears and tattoos, that's a dope line. Okay, I just don't see the facts. Canines, all of that, it's dope. But when you start talking about facts and you make people look at people differently, yeah, people say, oh, well, Pac only said, well, you call yourself a player, but I fucked your wife. First of all, that whole disc was a response to Who Shot Ya, and that's when people talk about marketing. That whole Biggie and Pac thing always gets on my nerves because people act like they were not wrong for dropping Who Shot Ya after he got shot in New York and all of these rappers are on it. How the hell else are you supposed to look at something like that? And that was a response to that. And the fact that he had this player persona, but the word was that Pac fucked his wife, that is facts. That is crazy in a dissing war, a rap rivalry. But this is crazy. I'm tuning in. They've got my attention because, whew, goddamn. And speaking of Biggie, Diddy's been going through all of this stuff, and I don't appreciate it actually, because people are like, oh, they're just trying to get another black man down. Oh, innocent to proven guilty. Yes, innocent to proven guilty. Matter of fact. Definitely, I agree. But let's not pretend like Diddy doesn't have a long rap sheet of shady dealings. A lot of his artists are dead or broke because he gave them all of those janky deals where Mace just stopped rapping, like at the height of his career. Like, come on, like even Biggie's mom's at one point was like, where my money at? She said he loved my son more when he died. Let's not forget about him beating up, wasn't it Steve Stout with a champagne bottle after they dropped the You Can Hate Me Now video, and he was upset because he wanted his the image of him on a cross taken out, and they didn't. So they went and saw a dude. Let's not forget about the club shooting. He went and got Johnny Cochran. And the reason why people are starting to say, oh, he's a Fed, and Kanye says he's a Fed, is because usually when people are working with Feds, they do weird things like that, like Haitian Jack. That's another thing about Rick Ross. I know I'm jumping, but I don't respect Rick Ross, especially after he came out talking about Jada Pinkett, talking about the Tupac having alopecia. Because if anyone watched Dare Mama by one of the Hughes brothers, I think Allen Hughes, I'm sorry if it's not the right Allen Hughes brothers, I love the Hughes brothers, sanctioned by Tupac's family, features Tupac's family. They talk about him having alopecia in that. And that came out like months before Jada Pinkett did something. And all of these rappers who claim to love Tupac so much, just like Rick Ross, I know he says he rides with Biggie a lot more. Obviously, you can hear it in his influence. But I'm like, y'all are so fake that y'all didn't even tune into that. Like, and if you're not on a pulse of hip hop like that, that is crazy to me. Back to Diddy being a Fed. Haitian Jack, who they say was an informant, that it's a whole thing. If you look at how that girl got into Pac's hotel room, they even used to say Madonna was someone that used to get close to rappers for the government. But the whole point is that if you watch that Dare Mama documentary, they show where Haitian Jack had a whole other, like a separate trial. Nothing happened to him. You can even see in the footage in Dare Mama where Pac walks his way and Haitian Jack walks his way. It wasn't like Pac was snitching, and he wasn't snitching in court, but he was calling these guys out on songs, and they were upset because he was doing it and he wasn't scared to. But all the other New York guys were being extorted. That's what it all boiled down to. But the fact that Haitian Jack never got, he never seen any jail time. He doesn't live in the States now, but looks like he was a Fed. It looks like Diddy might have been a Fed. He had a separate case from Sean, and then got Johnny Cochran, and Sean did all that time. Then what else did he do? Don't forget about the more recently something with one of his sons with the coach, where he threw a weight at the coach. Like, Puffy is known to be about that. Like, he doesn't shy away from being like, I'm about that. And then all that stuff that was in that Cassie lawsuit, him blowing up Kid Cudi's car, bro, yes. So if he's doing all of that, yeah, I'm very skeptical of this not being real. So please stop. Save your, they're bringing down a black man for a black man that's actually maybe worth it. Just saying. Just like OJ has passed away. And I watched the clip with Cameron, and I can understand how he's like, yo, yeah, you know, they're not talking about stats, they're just talking about the murder. I get it. But the murder made me go back to some of those domestic violence that occurred with him and Miss Simpson. Y'all forgot about that? Yeah. He was beating the dog shit out of her. So much to the point that, I mean, on one call, she was like, he's gonna kill me. And they were, and when she was saying who he was, they're like, you mean like the football player? Like the Hall of Fame? Y'all be so mesmerized by these guys' stats that y'all forget the other part of it. Like, yeah, he was acquitted, but then he was found liable in a civil lawsuit. I get it. There's going to be mixed feelings. But you can't deny the fact that he might have done it. Maybe he didn't. We'll never know. But the guy wasn't an angel. And I find it very disappointing. And it's, you know, and I have no place to speak. It's his family's wishes. But it would be great if they actually did let doctors study his brain for, I believe it's CTE. Is it CTE? I hope I'm saying it right. But I just want to get clarification on that because I hate saying things wrong. But I wish that they did let them study his brain because, yeah, chronic traumatic. Yes, I wish they did because it might have some insight to why he was violent, how much that violence can escalate. Because Mr. Hernandez, I can't remember his first name. they said that CTE could have been a lot of issues with him and him committing the murder. Aaron Hernandez, RIP. The CTE issues that he was having could have made him more violent, made him more. So it's interesting, very interesting. But it sucks. It sucks. But moving on, I did want to talk about some film being done with music right now. We got some Spider-Man news. Spider-Man 4, they're saying, could possibly go into production in September, which I'm interested in seeing what they do with Spider-Man, since the last one where it ended, no one knows who he is. No one knows who Peter Parker is. So that would be interesting, and to see him older. I'd love to see an adult Spider-Man, like almost like in the Spider-Verse movies. The Marvel has been a little bit all over the place, so I don't know, but they usually do right by the Spider-Man films. And I love Tom Holland and Zendaya together, which brings me to Zendaya in Euphoria and all the rewrites that's gone on with that, especially after Angus Cloud, RIP, passed. They had to alter it a little bit, and then apparently HBO wasn't happy. Then Zendaya wasn't happy with where her story arc was going, and she's the star and executive producer of it, so kudos, because I don't like the way some headlines are trying to make it seem like she was being difficult or something like that. I'm like, but thinking about Euphoria brings me to The Idol. We just talked about The Weeknd a little bit. I enjoyed The Idol, and I thought the cast was stacked with a lot of talent, and I thought Abel did a really good job. And I might be in a minority, but if you guys can check out the Idol before HBO decides to take it down like they do with a lot of their shows and stuff to sell them off to other places, other streaming networks, or for tax write-offs. Because if The Idol came on Netflix, I would believe it'd be number one for like 6 weeks. It was really good. And in other news, One Punch Man live action film. They had some news about it before with Justin Lin being announced for director, which I'm not really mad at that. And Rick and Morty, the writers from Rick and Morty would be the writers on this. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see another season of the anime, but I'm in. We'll see how it goes. All right. That's all I really have for film, I believe. I know we could talk about The Rock a little bit. I didn't like what they did with The Rock recently, either before WrestleMania. He decided not to endorse Biden, but the headline said he doesn't want to endorse Biden because he's not happy with America, the state of America right now. But if you actually read the article, he says he's not endorsing Biden. And he said he doesn't know if he's going to endorse anyone publicly again because he felt such a division when he did. And he doesn't like to see the country divided. That is very different from saying I'm not endorsing Biden because the country's divided right now. And I just want to make sure that people have information and facts, not only for the presidential election, but all local elections, state elections, everything. So I won't be endorsing anyone, but I will be trying to lay out the facts. I have no problem saying who I'm voting for because I have morals and I have standards. And Trump and that knockoff Kennedy just don't do it for me. So you can obviously see who I'm voting for. But also for me, it's just to be able to look at my future children or the next generation, and when they ask, well, why did you vote for that person, or how could you vote for that person, I can say my morals are still intact, and that money did not make me look away from someone being a criminal, a misogynist, and a racist. If you can live with that, and trust me, there's many people, especially in the black community, how do you think Malcolm X got assassinated, or Martin Luther King, or Fred Hampton? There are black people that were close to them who valued money over, the standards of living for the rest of their community because they were selfish. And if money rules your world that way, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to judge you for it. It's just that that's not me. So I just ask that you really look at your best interest. And if you think money outweighs the future of your daughters having a choice, people of color being respected, and the laws being abided by, and not being a sore loser when you lose. I mean, this is a walking definition of privilege. I say that the election was rigged, so it's rigged. I say I won, so I won. And you have to look at the history of America with men like Trump and understand why that ideology is prevalent within him. He's never worked a day in his life. He can't relate to me, not many of you who spend time on TikTok. And that goes for a lot of the people who are running this country. Unfortunately, if they couldn't bicker about who can marry who and who could love who and who could do what, and just war all the time, they wouldn't have anything else to do. They don't know how to evolve past this. And that would be okay if we were stepping up to the plate. But you have them feeding new generations with the same thought pattern. So these guys still want to just keep doing the same thing, going around in circles. Oh, healthcare is an issue. Taxes are the issues. Keep going around in circles. Oh, and then let's go to war. War is so barbaric, it makes no sense that we're still doing it. Situation with Israel and Palestine is ridiculous. All lives in this situation matter. A Jewish life doesn't weigh more than a Palestinian life. And the fact that we're talking about 33,000 dead there, we don't know how many are militants, how many are just innocents, but they say a lot of them are mostly women and children. Compared to the 1,200 that was lost. I mean, I understand. I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. That's a very tragic thing. But when do we say enough is enough? And then Iran had to do their thing. I'm like, we should be evolving past this. But when we keep having the same kind of people run this for us, they all look the same. You know, that they all look the same, and they've been looking this way for a century. When are we going to step up and say enough is enough and stop hitting us with all of this conspiracy stuff? Look, none of these guys are perfect. I have my issues with Biden. I don't like the way he's dealing with Israel. He's finally saying something now. There's a couple of things I don't like the way he does with things. None of these guys are ever going to be perfect, but we don't have to sell our souls. We can have morals. But we need to get involved so that we have a government that looks more like us, is reflective of us, and care about the issues that really matter. And that's all I'm saying, is really look at the issues and really think about what politicians are speaking for you. Get involved. Get as involved in politics as you are involved in sports. Y'all know all the stats. You know your favorite player. You're going to the game. You got the jerseys. But you don't even know who your local commissioner is. And then you're like, well, they this. They don't teach us this. It's not there. Do you know why you say they? Because they doesn't exist. That's why we say they. That's why we can never ever actually pinpoint who they is. Because they is you. No one's doing it for you. No one's giving you the information, especially this day and age when we have all these gadgets. There's no reason why you can't look up all of this stuff and get educated from actual real sources and then cross-reference. I look at all news, all around the Fox News, CNN, ABC, because I want to know what everyone's saying. It can't all be fake news. Y'all letting this guy, Trump, use all of the rhetoric that black freedom fighters were using, like Malcolm X talking about the media making him into some boogeyman when he's a very intellectual person and never said like by any means. And that's, if you attack me, I'm going to attack you. I'm not looking the other way, turn another cheek like Martin. Okay. That's all he said, but they made him out to be such a bad guy. That's what the media does. Trump is taking all of the oppression that all of the other people of color in this country have faced and putting it on him. That man has never been oppressed in his life. When you do illegal things, you have to answer to it, which is unheard of for a man of his stature with the kind of money he has. And that's the truth. But if you want to keep lending to that, go ahead. If you don't want to get involved, don't get involved. Can't make you. I can't make you get involved, but I'm going to try. And y'all can come blast me in the comments about the crime bill and all that Biden did and all that stuff. Whatever. At least he's changing, you know? I mean, y'all the same people that act like, oh, Obama didn't do anything. But if Obama wasn't successful and didn't shake things up, why was the reaction so hard to him having 8 years as president that they went with Trump? And they'll go with anyone, which I should show you, that they'd go with anyone over anyone of color or a woman. They definitely don't want Hillary Clinton in there. And then I saw with Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley was in polling, she could beat Biden. With Trump, it was kind of, that's why it's still iffy. But they don't want a Nikki Haley that's speaking for herself and calling out the Republican Party. They want Marjorie Greene, a dumb idiot hooked on conspiracies that they can tell her to do what they want and she'll do it and obey. Because that's what they like and that's what they want. But, you know, that's it. That's all I got there. But speaking of women and these guys in the Republican Party not wanting anyone to have any fun, there's some new research that came out. I don't have all the numbers here. But when I do, I'll flash them up on the screen. But please look into this because there was some research done. And what they found was when polling with Americans, men and women, they polled how many people were gay, bisexual, how many people watched gay porn and all this stuff. And they found that the number was pretty high. I think they said like maybe 10% of men were gay, watched porn, watched gay porn as well. And then there was also an uptick in women being bisexual from like the 60s or something like that. And what I found interesting was if we didn't weaponize religion and the politics to kind of suppress human nature, I mean, even in with the Greeks, they used to take the little boys out to go fishing. Yeah, I don't know about that. Look that up. So homosexuality has been in our, society since the beginning of time. If we looked at this more of as a natural thing, we would be far more advanced. This is so, I hate to say it like this, but you kind of have to be an idiot to be hung up on these things. Because what you do behind closed doors does nothing for me. You guys act like you can rub gay on people. If you're fighting it that much, you might not be straight, and that's okay. If I was gay, I'd be open about it. But I'm a straight man. I've been around men who pretend like they're straight and they hate they hate people being themselves around them because they can't be themselves for whatever reason. Stop projecting your self-hate on everyone else. Okay? Go see someone, talk to someone, and come to terms with who you are because it's brighter on the other side. I've seen it. As a theater actor, I've seen my friends come out, even in high school, and be accepted and live their true purpose. And it's a beautiful thing. And to suppress that from people is ridiculous. Just the same way, think about this. In the 60s, there were white folk that didn't want black folk to swim in their pools, to drink from the same water fountains, to use the same bathrooms. What? This is such, to really be hung up on these things, it's like your brain can't even process anything else. You have to be simple. I'm sorry. If no one else is going to say it, if Trump can go around saying all this crazy stuff, yeah, I can say that you're simple. You have to be the most simple-minded that you can't wrap your mind around other people doing, well, religion, well, hit me up when Jesus comes back then. If it's that, against the law, whatever, bro. Stop making excuses for you to be hateful. Stop making excuses for your hate. Stop making excuses for your hate. Let's just stop it there because y'all get me heated on these situations, and I don't want to be too crass or too rude. I think the last thing I wanted to touch on, so we're gonna wrap it up here, is that the beginning of this year was a little funky, and we're in a retrograde now. But I want to make sure that we are not using retrograde and things not going our way to not take accountability for ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and how we treat others. Don't use it as an excuse to hide. You know what I mean? I know, and I know it's easier said than done, but take that time to focus on you. Continue to find the positive in your day and in your life. And don't forget to have gratitude. I love that I can come on my podcast and I could create something where I can have a medium to speak. Even if we agree to disagree, I don't have any hate for you. I wish everyone well. I just believe that we can live in a world where we can have understanding amongst each other. Living is compromise. That's what politics is. It's compromise. It's not my way or the highway. And I just want to live that way. And we back. I'll probably have a guest maybe next week, or we're just gonna roll like this again because I love doing this and I love having these clips to be able to put on social media to really get into your heads and have dialogue back and forth. But please, y'all, don't forget to have gratitude. I'm proud of you and I love you. Peace. We out of here.